Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right into a scenario that is probably keeping a lot of you awake at night. So your Google Ads campaign is getting clicks. The click-through rate, it looks incredibly healthy. Your forms are actually receiving submissions. On paper, it totally looks like a win. But then you talk to your sales team and they hit you with the reality, these leads are students. They're job seekers, consumers, or just tiny companies that absolutely cannot afford you. Well, today, we're going to explore exactly why those healthy click-through rates and rising form fills are secretly burying your sales team in unqualified junk. We're going to walk through a 7-point B2B diagnostic to pinpoint exactly where your budget is leaking. So let's tackle this fundamental question. Why do clicks become junk? The natural reaction is to get frustrated and just blame the algorithm, right? Like you assume the platform is sending you garbage on purpose. But actually, scratch that. Rather than blaming the algorithm, we need to realize that Google Ads is just an incredibly obedient machine. It's doing exactly what you told it to do. Smart bidding is designed to find the easiest, cheapest action that you labeled as a conversion. If you tell the machine that a simple form fill is the absolute definition of success, it's going to ruthlessly optimize to find the path of least resistance to get you more of those. It is completely blind to whatever happens after that submit button gets clicked. Okay, let's kick things off with System 1, the feedback loop. We're actually starting our diagnostic backwards here, focusing on checks 1 and 7. Because if this system is broken, honestly, everything else you try to do is going to fail. Picture two searchers. One is an operations director at a 500-person company. They've got budget, they've got intent. The other, just a student looking for a free template. But they both complete the exact same short form on your website. Here's the catch, though. If a raw form submission is your primary smart bidding signal, Google sees these two radically different users as identical wins. The system just gets two identical green check marks. And because that template seeker is so much easier and cheaper to acquire, the algorithm is naturally going to seek out more of those cheap, unqualified template seekers. You haven't actually improved acquisition, you've literally just moved waste from your media budget over to your sales team's desk. Which brings us to checkpoint 1. Are you optimizing for a true lead or just a form event? You've got to define a lead ladder in your CRM. You want to move from a raw form fill over to a marketing qualified lead, then a sales qualified lead into an opportunity, and finally, a customer. You absolutely must audit your conversion goals in Google Ads. Make sure your primary bidding signal, the exact one Google uses to learn, moves deeper than that initial form fill as soon as your data volume permits. Look, keep measuring form fills for visibility, sure. But absolutely stop telling Google that a downloaded PDF is worth the same as a signed contract. Now, to fully close that loop we just opened, we're jumping straight to checkpoint 7. We have to look at the mechanics of how you actually tell Google about that deeper lead ladder. You must implement offline conversion tracking. This connects the initial ad click to the website lead all the way to the CRM stage, and then, this is the crucial part, imports that data back. By using enhanced conversions for leads, you're sending those deeper CRM stages, like qualified opportunities, back to Google to teach the bidding algorithm what sales actually wants. This is literally the highest leverage check in the entire audit. If qualified outcomes are happening in a CRM or after a sales call, Google simply cannot learn from them unless you send that time-stamped data back.
Moving right along to System 2, Traffic and Intent. Now that Google actually knows what a good lead looks like, this system governs exactly who is allowed to enter your funnel.
For checkpoint 2, you've got to remember this golden rule. Keywords are instructions, but search terms are evidence. If your account is producing low-quality leads, the search terms report is exactly where intent leakage becomes visible. Think about a keyword like commercial cleaning software. That's just an instruction to the platform. Depending on your match types, that instruction could trigger searches for free apps, jobs, home cleaning, or just consumer downloads. Your search terms report provides the actual undeniable evidence of whether you're buying relevant B2B intent or just consumer garbage. So how do we make sense of that evidence? Well, you shouldn't just scan for obvious nonsense. You really need to classify those search terms into 5 specific intent buckets: ideal buyer, adjacent but maybe uncertain, consumer, research only, and irrelevant. By categorizing these, you can calculate the true cost per qualified lead for each specific bucket. Because a term might look amazing because it gets you cheap form fills, but it's terrible when you realize it yields absolutely 0 opportunities. From this evidence, you have to build robust negative keyword themes. Words like jobs, free, training, or DIY. Think of these negative keywords as a shield, actively protecting your budget. Broad match isn't automatically bad, but it requires incredible discipline with your negative keywords to prevent scaling the wrong audience. Checkpoint 3.
where did that click actually come from? See, a search campaign can reach way beyond standard Google search. It can extend to search partners, use display expansion to serve on apps, or utilize AI Max to expand search term matching. Because blended reporting totally hides the quality gap, you need to segment these out. While display expansion or search partners might deliver those cheaper raw forms, they often lose spectacularly in the CRM. You need to see if they actually produce qualified leads, and if they don't, turn them off. Remember, separation before judgment.
On to checkpoint 4, geography. And honestly, I have to give you a warning here because the default setting is a massive trap. It automatically includes people in your target area and people who have just shown interest in it. Now, that might be great for a tourism company, but it is a massive leak for B2B companies with strict physical service areas or contracts. If physical eligibility matters to your business, you absolutely must switch from the default to the precision option, presence only. Please do not pay for clicks from people 1,000 miles away who are just casually researching your city if you literally can't legally sell to them.
Which brings us to our final system, the B2B promise. We've fixed the feedback, we've controlled the traffic, so now let's look at how your ad and your landing page filter out the noise. Checkpoint 5 is all about aggressive B2B qualification before the click even happens. A lot of B2B products use the exact same vocabulary that everyday consumers use. If your ad generically says, "Get a free quote," you are warmly inviting absolutely everyone to click and waste your budget. Instead, you've got to use the ad to intentionally disqualify consumers. State the business audience, the commercial job, or the minimum order requirement right there in the copy. Something like compliance software for 50 to 500 employee manufacturers is a perfect example. Honestly, a high click-through rate is actually a warning sign if your message is so generic that nobody understands who the offer is actually for. You want to pay for fewer, better-aligned clicks.
And you know, that qualification extends right into the form itself through something we call useful friction. You don't want maximum friction that acts as a tax on serious buyers, but you do want enough information to properly screen and route a lead. Apply useful friction on your forms by asking for actionable fields, things like company size, industry, or work email. Now, I want to be super clear about this. It is absolutely fine if asking a few qualifying questions lowers your raw form volume. Paying for fewer, better-aligned clicks improves your downstream economics and saves your sales team countless wasted hours.
Okay, checkpoint 6. This one demands absolute message continuity. Think of a click as a promise accepted by the user. If they search for enterprise payroll migration and the ad promises an assessment, but then the landing page just says a super generic transform your business, the user has to reconstruct the relevance themselves. And most of them, they'll just leave. Message continuity means the language must remain unbroken, from the initial search intent to the ad promise to the page headline, right down to the final CTA.
To verify this continuity, I highly recommend running the 10-second landing page test. Grab a colleague who hasn't worked on the campaign, have them look at your landing page just above the fold, and see if they can confidently answer these 4 questions in under 10 seconds. Who is this for? What specific problem is solved? Why should I trust this company? And what exactly happens after I fill out this form? If the answers are vague, or if your button just says submit instead of something like request a 20-minute assessment, your campaign is quite literally paying money to create confusion.
Let's bring this all together with the 7-point quality audit scorecard. This is a concrete, actionable checklist you can take right back to your demand gen team.
Here's the rundown. Number 1, audit those primary goals for meaningful outcomes. 2, check search intent by classifying terms and building negatives. 3, segment your expansion networks and judge them on qualified outcomes. 4, verify geography targets' actual presence. 5, check B2B qualification in your copy and form friction. 6, verify message continuity from search straight to the CTA. And 7, ensure offline feedback is actually sending those CRM stages back to Google. Score each of these checks as red, amber, or green. And please, whatever you do, remember the golden rule. Fix your measurement and intent filtering before you even think about tweaking a landing page headline. Ultimately, this all boils down to one simple rule. Find the leak before you add budget. If 3 or more of the checks on that scorecard are red, increasing your ad budget is only going to scale your losses faster. You'll literally just be buying more junk. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative question to investigate in your own accounts today. Go look at your Google Ads dashboard. What exact business outcome is your primary conversion action actively teaching Google to find right now? Is it the outcome your business actually needs or just the easiest one to measure? Thanks for joining me on this explainer and good luck with your audit.